Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Risky Rollers podcast. Dalton's not here again, so you're stuck with my beautiful self, and I am Locky, and I'm joined with Ikon.
I'm here. I'm back. It's been a while. It feels like it's actually been ages. Probably
It has.
yeah. Also, computer issues killing me right now. I'm recording this on a potato monitor and I'm crying inside because it's the wrong orientation and everything.
What is it like vertical?
Yeah, because it was my secondary one and I still haven't gotten to the bottom of what my primary one is, like what the issue is, and it's a painful experience. I played TTS on this last night and I was dying inside.
That's horrendous. Yeah, so to this evening, morning, whatever time at which you're listening to this, we're going to be talking Horus Heresy. But before we get into that, be sure to, if you like this, subscribe, head over to our YouTube channel, all our BatRep content as well as our podcasts. Also, if you are listening to this on Spotify or any kind of audio podcast system, please rank it. It helps us out a lot with helping the algorithm find the right people and spread it out there, and listening to us Aussies ramble on about stupid stuff. Also, come join our Discord.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff like the tournament that we're doing, the next one that we're doing, which is a doubles event, the people in the Discord get free reign. Well, not free reign, but early access.
Priority.
Yeah, early access priority status.
Yeah.
So head on over there. It's no charge or anything. It's just free. We got heaps of TTS games and heaps of everything Horus Heresy now and 40k. And then
we've always talked, right? Like we've always talked. The Discord is a place to be. Blah 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 blah. But like past couple of weeks now, it's sort of to the point where there's like just ridiculous amounts of engagement. Like TTS games and just painting stuff. Like I can't even keep up with the conversations anymore. There's that much going on now. It's awesome.
There's so many people I don't know, and I can't. One of my mates the other day said to me, he goes, "Now you've got a Discord. Now you've got a server. Now you're a moderator and you've got a server. If you're at the point where you don't know who the people that are inside your server are, then you've done something right." So I was like, "Oh, okay. I didn't know. That's pretty cool."
I 100% agree, because like 4 weeks ago I was like, I know that guy, and I'm basically up on pretty much every thread of content that's happening here. Now I'm like, I got no idea. Who the hell is this guy? His models are sick.
It's pretty much like I just stick to the stuff that I'm interested in or I'm relevant to. So, anything like Chaos Knights or Horus Heresy or Tyranids or, things of that ilk.
Yeah.
Anything else like pretty much any of the loyalist stuff, I'm like, I don't care. I don't even I don't even go into those chats. I'm like, whatever.
Well, that's pretty much where I'm at this point, because like I'm the opposite. I'm like, I'll play all the Space Marines and blah 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 blah, and this works really well for our this chat today about the Horus Heresy, because like I'm pretty invested in Space Marines as a player.
Yeah. So anyway, it's awesome. So come on and head over, and look, if you want to help support us even more, you can come and join our Patreon. There's a lot of extra goodies there. So kicking us right off, getting straight into it. Horus Heresy, 30k is so much better than 40k. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Everything's just cooler.
So much cooler.
The guns work. The armor works. It's not stuff they found and they're like, oh, we'll just weld that back together, it'll be fine.
Even weld, they just bless it, right? They just like hope it joins.
They just spit on it, put some duct tape, and they're like, yeah, it'll be right.
Imagine if you imagine you actually finally told a Adeptus Mechanicus person in 40k like that a welder's just a battery. They'll probably be like, no. They'll lose their minds.
Yeah.
No, it's great. So coming off the back of Games Workshop sort of officially releasing that Horus Heresy trailer that Astartes did, which was absolutely amazing. If you haven't checked that out, go and check that out. I'm pretty sure everyone in the Warhammer world has seen that cinematic, which is absolutely amazing. But if you haven't, we'll put a link in the description anyway that you can go and check it out. I've watched it about 30 times. Off the back of that, it was the announcement of a new edition of Horus Heresy, and along with that, a whole swathe of models. So there's been a whole bunch of leaks or rumors around Horus Heresy getting a plastic, sort of rejuvenation, because up until this point it's been restricted to Forge World resin stuff, which is obviously, limits their amount of people that can play it, and from a price point, from a shipping point, from all that stuff. So the accessibility is quite low there. Which, argue whether it's good or bad. I mean, I'm sure people have their very strong opinions about it. I don't really care.
Well,
I think,
in what world can it be bad? Like, better accessibility for any product is just flat better, right?
wow, some people argue that, sometimes too many people in a product can taint the product. Which there's an argument for. I don't necessarily think it's very relevant in the niche of the niche of the niche in Warhammer.
No.
But
yeah.
But I mean, like,
no.
you can argue, like, people have argued the whole popularization of things like comic books and superhero stuff has kind of
diluted the core of what it is.
Changed exactly. So,
well, I mean, that's the ultimate fear, right? Games Workshop being bought out by the dreaded House of Mouse, and then we have like Robert Guillem and the Disney Princess.
I mean, is he not already? I mean, I love him. He's actually one of my favorite Primarchs. Literally in the last couple of months. Yeah, man, he's gotten to my top 5 now. Like, let me rephrase. Not 30k Guilliman, 40k Guilliman has become like one of my top 5. So if I take my top 5 30k guys, he's not even in there.
We're gonna have to get into that because, like, I right now I'm just about to finish the Age of Darkness Heresy book, and like, I mean, now he's sort of just playing the way from where I'm standing at this point. He sort of was trying to set up his own empire.
He didn't sort of. He literally did.
Yeah, and now he's just like, well, Dad's dead. Fuck him. I'm just gonna do it anyway. Like, he's just the ultimate. He's just the ultimate. Yeah, no, this is good, but like, he's just rolling you. He's pyramid scheme. He's pyramid.
He's
scheme.
so not pyramid scheme. He is the definition of, like. Okay, he does try a little bit too hard to please, right? But at the same time, he's the good guy. He is the good guy in the sea of bad that is the Imperium, especially in the 40k, right? I'm trying to find the book now, the one where he actually sets up the Imperium Secundus
during the heresy, yeah.
Yeah, so before they can get to the siege, the huge Magnus and that set those crazy warp storms off, and Magnus and Lorgar set off those crazy warp storms that block off the eastern side of the galaxy and stop Ultramar. But then Sanguinius and the Lion hear from Guilliman, and they're like, go back to Ultramar, we're going to set up we're going to consolidate and set up our forces back here before we push back and make our run for Earth, sort of thing. And then Guilliman's like, Unremembered Empire. That's it. Unremembered Empire. It's really good. I really like that book.
So is this Heresy or Siege of Terror?
No, it's Heresy.
I'll get to it.
Yeah, it's because it's about Guilliman setting up his the Imperium Secundus.
Okay.
And the kind of imbalance between himself, Sanguinius, and the Lion, because he's like, Sanguinius, you need to be Emperor, right? Because they don't know if they can even get through the storms and can even get to Terra. They're like, well, we don't know. Terra could be dead.
Yeah.
So if it is, we need to bunker down and hold what we have and see. He just gets his military mind back on, and anyway, it's really good for that. And that book, along with like a lot of the Dark Imperium stuff, really won Guilliman for me, and especially the Dark Imperium trilogy, the Plague War and Godblight. They really explore him and the kind of position that he's in, which is
it's pretty rubbish position.
Oh man, he just wakes up expecting. Well, you don't know what he's expecting, but he's just woken up to like his entire legacy just being absolutely obliterated to something that he's, the worst thing ever.
Even on a small scale, it's like, why are you worshipping the toaster? Like, please stop. Like, even on the minute scale, you wake up and you're just like, this guy, he's putting incense on the toaster. Why? I just want breakfast.
Well, from his perspective, right? And look, we won't say this for too much longer, but he literally died for these people, and they have disregarded his sacrifice and are believing in everything that he fought for them not to believe in.
Yeah.
And it's like, what a slap in the face. And then he still stands there like, all right, I'll still protect you.
Yeah.
I'll still help you, you know. And it's, yeah, I feel bad for the dude. Anyway, so, yeah. So what are your thoughts on this new edition and these models? And, you know, I mean, I guess should we talk about what's in the new? Well, okay, I say talk about, but the leak.
Let's talk about the leaked images that we have.
Yeah, and the leaked images and the leaked data on what's in that box.
Yeah.
So yes,
starting off with the images, we have obviously, you know, two opposing forces, right? And I mean, they're painted up as, in this image, Sons of Horus and Imperial Fist. So it's probably like, you know, at Terra, right? It's probably what the box set is going for.
Well, no, they're not factions. It's just legion. It's just legions. So
yeah,
there's no specific iconography
but I just meant the marketing in these images. It's, you know, like Imperial Fist versus no, there's a couple of decals, but there's no actual iconography. Yeah.
So it is super generic.
Yeah, which is good because then you get value for everyone, which is, you know, nice. I mean, that's pretty much how Space Marines have always been, though. And then you go out and you buy your upgrade kits if you're going to be salamanders or whatever.
Yeah, don't know why you want to be salamander.
Yeah,
I mean, Vulcan's cool,
but
the Legion's lame.
Yeah. I like fire. I like to burn things.
Burr.
It's Ralph, and he's like, I gotta get home. Leprechaun tells me to burn things.
It's like, tastes like burning.
Jesus.
Oh my god, Vulcan is Ralph.
Yes. I like it.
Because you know how he's all like, stuck at the base of the thing still now, apparently.
Yeah.
He's just like, brain has become like Ralph, so he's like simple. After being tortured from Kurz too, so he's just like, meh.
Just meh. And then,
so what's in go on, sorry.
Well, now I've opened the other page, and it's sort of, this is the suspected contents of the box. Rulebook, obviously we need that. Great, it's a new edition. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then, according 3 codex-like compilation books. Could that be like something along the lines of?
So I guess the best way to handle it is that for people who aren't aware, Heresy, the game, kind of it ran quite differently to current 40k. I mean, I've never played it, but from what people have told me, it's pretty much 7th edition, but just tweaked to be better and not stupid. But then also the books that were released, which kind of had the rules in them, were actually followed each, I guess, main
the
story
narrative
arc. The main each main story arc of the narrative along the road of the Horus Heresy throughout the time leading up to the Siege of Terra.
So like your first major battle would be like something like Isfahan, and then second one, and then the culmination of that would be the Drop Site Massacre.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure the first book has like most of every legion that's in that, like in those on Isfahan and stuff.
Yeah.
On 3 and 5. So Anyway, so I do think, however, they're not going to do that with this.
No, if they're looking to expand,
it's going to shift a little bit.
Yeah, if they're looking to expand, they need to, give.
But this box set is called. Supposedly, this is leaked, so take everything with a grain of salt, everyone. Heta Gladius is the launch box name. So I don't know. I mean, my Heresy knowledge is okay. It's not amazing, but it's not trash either. So I'm not sure if that was a battle or.
I don't know. A quick Goog might. Google might know the answer.
And in the box, you've got, I think it's 20 odd legionaries. I think it's more actually. I think it's 40. Yeah, it's 40 legionaries, 2 praetors, which are kind of like your captain slash lieutenant peoples. I think there's 10 terminators. Dread. Oh, sorry, it's 5 terminators, which are the cataphracti terminators.
The best
Templar dreadnought.
Terminators.
Yes, and a Spartan tank, which is essentially a proto Land Raider, which is even still infinitely cooler than the current Land Raider. So it's a lot of models. I mean, even in our Discord, people have been talking like, "What's the price point going to be?" And you know, people are like, "Oh, it's it's been leaked at £240," and it's like, "What's that in Australia? That's like $10,000."
Yeah, that's like you just knock off the GW for the product at that point.
Yeah, I reckon. But really, like my thoughts on it is that it's going to be like Indominus. It's going to be pushed to fit, or slash monopose.
Yeah, probably.
Even if not, even if it is a multi-part kit, then it's not going to be priced through the wazoo because that's not what's going to get them. It's not what's going to get them the audience. You saw how successful. We all saw how successful Indominus was and how it was so good for those factions. They know what they're doing when it comes to those things. They're not going to sit there and go, "Here's this new box. It's all amazing and all this stuff," but you have to, sell a house to buy it. They're just not going to get numbers that way. So I wouldn't be too worried. I'm not too worried about the price. It's gonna be whatever.
And
$300.
This is one of those things you go half, probably go like halves with one of the boys though.
With someone anyway. Exactly. Yeah.
Because it's fundamentally 2 armies, right? You go, well, if it's going to be, I don't know, $400, you're getting and you're going half each. It's not so bad, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, at that point, it'll depend. I think if it's full multi-part and you're going $200 each for 20, 25 whatever models, it's still, I mean, that's standard Games Workshop prices, but it's still DR. You're not getting any really benefit from that. You might as well just buy them individually when they come out individually, But yeah, anyway, and then there's slated Loyalist and Trader Codex like books, but who knows? I mean, I hope they kind of don't go full down
the codex aspect,
the codex route. I hope they kind of condense it a little bit better, and maybe you just had all the rules for the loyalists in one book and all the rules for the traders in another, or something like that.
Reading the headlines on this, it says 3 codex, sorry, not headlines, but reading these leaked listings of what they think is going to be in there. 3 codex like compilation books. In my head that comes up as 1 for heretics, 1 for loyalists, and then maybe a small.
Oh yeah, sorry,
narrative.
That's exactly what they said.
Maybe
it says,
or a mission book or something. I don't know.
Well, it says other army Age of Darkness armies, which I imagine would be like Mechanicum, probably maybe Renegade Guard, or Trader legions that aren't Space Marines.
Yeah.
Which is cool because we had a huge chat, you, me, and a few of the boys in the Discord about just perusing through the Horus Heresy stuff on Forge World and just
what were those things you found that you'd never seen before?
The Automata, all the Mechanicum Automata robots, and I lost my mind. Yeah. I was like, why are these not in 40k? I'm like, these are the coolest. I mean, I know why, but I mean, in terms of the lore, but in terms of the models, I'm like, these are the coolest things ever. And I really hope that you can run all that again, which I imagine you will be able to, because there'll be heaps of people who have those models, and yada yada yada. I've already bought some, so.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
Nice. To run alongside your knights or something?
I think I might find a justification. Yeah, I'll find a justification for something in 40k, I think. But realistically, I think I'll be maining Mechanicum in like Dark Mechanicum in Horus Heresy games, for sure. Cool. Because
cool. That's the first real rules representation of Dark Mechanicum, period, right?
It will be. Yeah, I mean, it currently is. So you can play them in the current edition of Horus Heresy. Actually, I don't know if you can play them Dark Mechanicum. Maybe you just play the.
No, I don't think
you just play the good guys, right?
Yeah, because I think that's
quote unquote good guys.
Yeah, that's what Jace was whinging about. He's like, just give us Dark Mechanicum rules. I want to play Dark Mechanicum.
I mean, look, if they brought out Dark Mechanicum now for 40k, I'd play that hard drop everything and like buy a full army of that, and or at least convert to make it because it's just so much cooler. Like all the cool books, like Mechanicum is sick, and it's just like all the twisted things that they create. You're like, yes.
Yeah, Mechanicum was an awesome book. I love that book.
There's so much, and it's annoying because you can understand why 30k stuff is cooler, because obviously when they wrote it they had no desire or inclination to make it a game or make the models for it or any of that sort of stuff, so they could just be like, we just make like god killing weapons and burn whatever and who gives a shit.
I got a planet killing cannon and then I put it on
a
tracks.
truck. Yeah.
And now
it's point it at the ground.
And then we shoot.
It's so nuts, that bit in Mechanicum where they're just like, oh, the Hellfire cannon they've got, and they're just like taking down Titans, like literally just one shot's a Reaver with this cannon. And you're like, what? It's so epic. Yeah, so I mean, obviously, one of the things that 30k appeals so much to me is it just takes that scale of 40k and it just goes even next level.
Yeah. Yeah, you're bringing all the super powered stuff to the table, and you're like, I'm gonna just blow you into the next moon.
Yeah, I mean, even from a lore point, right? And the thing, I got a lot of respect for, like, there's been a lot of people that go, oh, it drags, right? There's whatever 60 something books or whatever it is in all of them, and whatever. And look,
this is coming from the same people that have been watching Neighbours for 20 years.
Yeah, or watch the same season of Maths in and out. Yeah, it's Maths every year.
Maths.
For people who don't know what Maths is, if you're not from Australia, it's this really shitty reality TV show that a lot of people watch in this country, which is retarded.
Yeah.
But the thing that I find so appealing about the Horus Heresy is the scale is massive in terms of the war fronts and the technology. But the scale isn't as massive in terms of like, trillions of people. Like it is, but it isn't. Like, you look at 40k now and you go, well, it just, I don't know. I don't know how I'm really butchering this description.
Yeah, but, I'm a little lost. I'm like, where's he going? How do I jump in? How do I help him?
It feels the thing, Horus Heresy, this scale feels massive, but every small interaction also feels important. Where like in 40k, you're like, oh, there's this night battle on this one random world, and you're like, who cares? Like, Tyranids are probably going to be there in 100 years, or what? It's just everything in 40k is so inconsequential. It just doesn't matter.
It's because I guess in Heresy, maybe it feels that way because just the content is so much more fleshed out. Like if you're playing this smaller scale game, and it's like you're playing Iron Hands versus Emperor's Children, and you're like, playing some. In your head, this is this battle is way more fleshed out because it's already the arch nemesis battle of Fulgrim and Ferris, right? Like,
yeah.
There's when you play these games, when you play games in Heresy, that no matter the scale, the narrative aspect always feels more fleshed out in your head because the story's there, so it just feels way more epic. Because you're like, this happened in game and that happened, in the lore, and that's sick. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's that. I mean, I think that's definitely a part of it. I just realized it as you were talking, actually. It's because there's a goal. That's why it feels structured. In 40k, there's no... Everyone's kind of arbitrary. Like, Imperium's just surviving. Eldar are also just surviving. Everyone's just surviving, right? Except for Chaos, who just want to, maim everything. But in Heresy, there's a very specific goal. Like, we are trying to go to this place, kill this dude who, fucked us over, essentially, right? Or was going to fuck us over at some point anyway. He did it once, he's going to do it again.
Yeah.
Whatever. Maybe that, for me, is what grounds it, and it's like, makes it a bit more driven. I don't know. But I don't know. I just like it more. I really do. Maybe it's because I've read a lot more Horus Heresy and stuff.
That comes back to exactly what I just said. Like, it's more fleshed out for you. So everything you do in the game feels like it has more weight.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's
Because
cool. Like, I mean, and the characters too, right? Like,
oh yeah,
the
they're just
characters
so
that
much.
existed. Like, oh, I mean, it's really hard because we always ask each other this when we're like, oh, who's your favorite characters in Warhammer? And 9 times out of 10, most of us will say dead 30k people,
Yeah, 100%.
right?
100%.
Like 40, so many of the 40k characters, not just Imperium, like across the board, are just lame. It's like whatever, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
put it to bad writing, or put it to whatever, or maybe not enough. Maybe there's not enough stories on these people, or these characters, or these archetypes, or whatever.
or in the instance that the ones that are still alive, like what's his name, Asubus, the Night Lords, the current leader of the largest warband of the Night Lords.
Yeah.
Like just their experience level when they come across a modern day hero of the Imperium, they just backhand them into next week. They're like, I've been doing this 10,000 years before you were born. I'm gonna smack you into next week.
Yeah, but then they're like, oh no, that Imperium guy got away just.
Yeah.
Okay, mate, whatever.
Actually, that makes me feel the worst one you feel for is Bjorn. You feel for Bjorn so bad because
so hard
because they wake him up to tell stories and stuff.
Oh yeah, and like, come drink with us. He's like, I can't drink. I'm a machine. I'm locked in a box.
And not only that, they're like doing all their prayers and stuff. And he's like, I used to shoot people for this.
Yeah, yeah, no shit. Yeah, 100%.
Like, we're gonna worship the Emperor. He's like, are you for real?
He's like, the Emperor would have just brain melted all of you people for this shit.
Yeah, and he's like, I feel for Bjorn because he'd just be like, I screw all of you.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with actually, I'm not going to talk about that because that's tangenting too much. So obviously, if you weren't aware, Games Workshop did a little thing post the cinematic regarding the announcement of the new edition, being this thing on their community page or through their new website or whatever, which is like, take this quiz and see what Legion is right for you. And everyone did it. And it's funny because I was going to do it and see it was going to be, depending on what I got, I would say it or not say it to the group and be like, this is the Legion that I'm going to do for like my first Horus Heresy army, right? And then, funnily enough, like I got one that I was okay with, but also like, I was kind of surprised because, I was gunning for sort of Night Lords or White Scars or whatever, but I knew I wouldn't go White Scars because, like, as much as I
you,
like White
you
Scars,
are nowhere near loyal enough to play White Scars.
Exactly. It was like, I like White Scars in 40k. I don't like White Scars in 30k. Well, I do as well, but yeah, no. Chaos is way cooler. Anyway, so we were like, all right, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it, and then we'll play those, and then we'll just, do bat reps with them or whatever. They'll just be for us armies. So, what'd you get?
Well, despite being in 40k a loyalist, got Night Lords first time off the bat. And, I mean, I've always liked the Night Lords. Like, Zoe is one of my favourite characters ever since I read The Lord of Night. They're just awesome.
Talos is also just a badass.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just cool. They're aggressive. Lightning claws and jump packs. It just doesn't get any cooler than that, right?
Yeah, especially with like flaying people and then hanging their flayed skin in their like auditoriums and like not even knowing what their menials are doing, and like they creates this like little underhive society within their ships that they're like, I don't care. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, there's a whole scene in The Lord of Night where he basically does that. Zoe Sahal cuts the lights, and then they're in a hive world, and he gets off an elevator inside this hive world, and there's like 50 armed, guardsmen or whatever waiting for him, and he just launches up into the sky or into the roof, kills the lights, and then just starts ripping up true guardsmen like one at a time, just raining corpses down and blood down on the others, and just sends them into a panic where they all just start wildly shooting into the sky and into each other, and he kills 50 of them by himself, like just with sheer terror. Just
That's sick.
yeah, it's awesome. And yeah, I mean, I'm just so excited to play a super fast, super super killy, super stabby, super terrifying army. I'm hoping that in the rules they get some cool leadership mechanics. I'm not really sure how leadership and morale and all those sorts of mechanics work.
Well, hopefully
in
they
Heresy.
don't even have that in Heresy.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I hope it's not a thing.
Really? Because like it sort of detracts from what the Night Lords are if you take it out.
But that's to people and other races. They wouldn't never instill fear in other legionaries.
Yeah, okay. That's fair, I guess.
In 40k maybe, definitely not in 30k. But also, like, the only reason why I say that, what I said before about because the leadership system in 40k is stupid, doesn't do anything. She might as well not even be there.
Well, I mean, it doesn't do anything when you play Tyranids.
Doesn't do anything most of the time. You can get around leadership. It's very rare that it matters, as opposed to, other games that have proper, psychology mechanics. So, I mean, if they have something that affects that, awesome. I like that's designed better. That's not just a leadership characteristic that you have modifiers to, which is just really poor game design. But, I do, as you say, I do hope that each Legion does get a very specific play style archetype like the Legions are. And I think they kind of have to do that, because if they don't,
then it's just Space Marine versus Space Marines. It'd be super... Because
it'd be super boring.
If you take that away, if you take those, gameplay differences away, then it's just Space Marines versus Space Marines. I can do that at home.
Yeah. On your own and be bored.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Just roll dice by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think they will.
And what did you get? I mean,
I got World Eaters.
And I think this fits you to a T.
It does. It does.
Spend 9 CP, run across the board, turn 1 charge. I've either won or I've lost. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much. That's literally entirely my playstyle.
Yeah.
Being hyper aggressive and I love combat, so I was pretty happy with that, because the last thing I wanted was like, you got word bearers. I was like, I mean, look, you can kind of see where you're gonna go based on the questions. It's pretty easy to predict
tailor it
to a point.
Yeah,
you can tailor it. I've done it like 10 times. I'm like, oh, can I get Imperial Fists?
Yeah, I tailored
my
enough
second
about the
law,
into Imperial Fists.
Yeah, you can get it. But anyway, the first one was just straight up off the bat, take it at face value, bang, 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 got World Eaters. So I was like, right, I'm now officially Khorne and a World Eater player. I used to play World Eaters when I was playing Chaos when I was a kid anyway. I used to play Iron Warriors and World Eaters, so love it. It's fine. So I'm excited. Khan is awesome, and Angron, yeah, whatever. I feel sorry for the dude, but Khorne's pretty cool.
Yeah, Khorne's cool. I love how World Eaters are described in the Heresy. I think a lot of people sort of, at face value in 40k, they're like, oh, World Eaters are just mindless butchers and they're just blah, blah, blah. Whereas when you go back and read 30k lore, that was Space Wolves. And World Eaters were relentlessly efficient, but not rabid. And they were just, like, other Space Marines would stop and look at them and go, oh, Jesus. Like, that is just terrifying efficiency. Not necessarily these guys are just foaming at the mouth and like...
Yeah, not barbarism. They weren't barbarians, like, kind of like they are depicted now, as you say.
That was the Space Wolves in 30k.
Yeah.
Like, they were just
and it's also
feral animals. Like, gross.
And Night Lords and World Eaters had a similarity in terms of there was no disparity between what they killed. It's like, if those civilians are in the way, well, those civilians die. Yeah. I could not care less. I mean, I know Night Lords would deliberately do that. They
Yeah.
would deliberately mutilate the innocent population instead of killing the military to just instill, like, be like, whoa, these guys don't care about like rules of war at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of cool aspects of I actually learned in one of the in Angron's book they talk about how the breaches, so
The
the
guys with the
breacher,
shields. Yeah.
yeah, so the guys with shields and guns, but the World Eater ones used to have spears.
Yes. Yeah.
So kind of like your literal old Roman style, very like kind of what you would say like current ultramarine style, but yeah, like full. They'd have chain axes on their hips with bolt gun like bolters on the other hip or on their back, and then they'd have like the front line would have there'd be like spear like pikemen with a shield. It's like that is so cool. So I'm so converting a lot of. I'm going to be getting a lot of trying to find as many spear bits as possible.
Well,
to convert all
what you
my
can
guys.
do is you can get the conversion kits for what are they called? Minotaurs, and that they have
Yes.
spears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to use.
Yeah,
and,
the spear arm for that.
even what's his name? What's the chapter master's name?
For who?
For Minotaurs.
Oh,
Because he's like Forge World
Asterion Moloch.
Asterion, that's it. I was like Acteron. Yeah, Asterion Moloch. Yeah, because he's got that crazy spear, and that arm is like really, really awesome, like character conversion kit thing.
Yeah.
We'll just quickly have a quick break, and we'll hear from Tim from Dice Arcade, and we'll be back to talk about Age of Darkness.
Dun 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 dun.
DiceArcade.com.au. All the biggest brands of miniatures and wargaming. Free postage over $250.
All right, cheers, Tim. Thanks for that. And, you know, everyone, if anything you want to get hobby related, even not even 40k, he's got cards, he's got everything.
Well, the big question is, does he have 30k? Can he get this new
Ooh,
box?
He'll have it.
Yeah.
I 100% guarantee, hope that he has it because I'm telling
I
people that he'll have
hope
it.
that he has it. Now I have to call him and make sure he has it.
So yeah, be sure to get hit up Tim and Code Risky Rollers to get get yourself a nice discount there. So you've got a little bit of extra info.
Yeah, well, while we were doing the thing, I looked up the suspected title. The leaked title is Heta Gladius, right? And that actually was a world in the Imperium. And just a quick rundown, it was one of the key worlds en route to Terra, fortified by Dawn in the prelude to the Siege of Terra. It was protected by a bunch of legions, Blood Angels, Imperial Fists, Imperialis Armada.
So is it like just on the border of Sol? Must have been, right? Just on the outside.
Yeah, and
just on the outside?
It seems, if I'm reading this correctly, the Vengeful Spirit came out the warp nearby, and
then just melted it.
Yeah.
It's like Lances to your planet.
Yeah, so
Epic.
basically they tried to hold them up at Heta Gladius. They tried to hold them up to stop them from getting to Terra with this planet. So which kind of makes sense for the release of a new box, right? Like this is like the first step on trying to stop them from getting to the Sol system, right?
Well, it's actually quite interesting that you say that that's what they choose to be the box, because if there is going to be corresponding lore, maybe a lot of the box stuff is going to be centered around the siege of, like, not necessarily the Siege of Terra, but the final stages, the end of the height of the war, and the War for Sol and all that stuff. Maybe that's kind of the path they're taking, because I mean the Siege of Terra books are absolutely amazing. They're so sick.
Yeah, well, the way it's written here, if I was trying to paraphrase, but if I just read it verbatim, it says, due to warp surge, the Vengeful Spirit and its escorts plunged from the warp as it was on its way to the traitor muster at Ulanor and right within range of Heta Gladius's guns. So the warp had a spaz attack, and they dipped out in range of this planet, and they tried to hold them up there on their way to the Sol system, according to this.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So it might not necessarily be anywhere near it.
No.
Soul, I mean. Okay. Cool. Well, that's all right. That's good. They've just picked a random spot. Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's the info on that. So it makes a lot of sense why the images in the box are Imperial Fists and the Sons of Horus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correlates with the name.
So, before the break, I mentioned Age of Darkness. Now, this is something that you showed me recently that I am so fucking pumped for. I'm so excited for this. I'm more excited for this than actually Horus Heresy.
Well, I mean, partly because we already have it in our hands, right? We're all gonna.
Yeah.
We could even.
So, what is it?
It is a community-made kill team book for 30k.
Yeah.
And it's it's already out. It's in the ether. It's
it's real.
It's real. It's free. There's a Facebook group, and you can just get it and just download it and just read it. And there's it's in its infancy stages of release. Like I think I got it the day or the day after it was released. I picked it up. I don't even know if there's been updates already at this point, but just get on it, man. It's so even in its infancy, it's so well done.
Yeah, so the boys and girls, men and women behind this, whoever they are, have put an extreme amount of polish and effort to this. It is like buying a PDF version of a legit, like getting a PDF, because you don't have to pay for it, just FYI everybody. It's like having a PDF version of a core rulebook. That's to the standard that it is. And just to be clear, it's current third ed kill team, or whatever the new edition of Kill Team is, second or third ed, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it second? Yeah,
Yep.
Second. So it's current second edition with all the, systems that you know, or don't know, whatever, but the relevant real ones, but just with the 30k skin. It's a 30k skin on Kill Team.
Yeah.
And it's cool, Do you want individual models for each legion? You got it.
I mean, straight away, this is how I'm starting off my Night Lord's force. Like, we're building Zosahal, a raptor, raptors, or which are called assault marines in Kill Team. Or,
yes.
Yeah, they weren't called raptors then, but yeah, assault marines and Zosahal, and I'm gonna play your world eaters, and it's gonna be epic, and we can already, right from the get go, this can engage people in 30k stuff with 5 models or 7 models or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm probably going to say it now, and Dalton's going to get angry when he listens to this. I'm probably going to say it now that we will definitely be doing a 30k kill team report. It may even be the first kill team report that we do is actually with this, because it's so cool.
Yeah,
it's seriously so cool. I'm pumped. Yeah, I'm pumped and it's hard. So we'll put a link into the Facebook group in the description in this as well. So anyone who's interested can go and track that down themselves. It's not hard to track down.
Yeah,
it's seriously not hard to get.
Just look up Age of Darkness 30k on Facebook, and if you really can't find it there, jump in the Discord. I'll help you out.
Exactly. Yeah, that was going to be the next bit. So, yeah, so I think it's like for us as well, I don't have a lot of 30k models. I think some are quite transferable, if you've got Death Guard, you've got Death Guard.
That's
pretty
right.
much. You just don't run, you're obviously not going to run in Poxwalks and stuff, but you've got Plague Marines and Terminators, you've got your Death Guard force for 30k. So it's pretty cool. Obviously, there's going to be weapon restrictions and stuff like that, but you just proxy and just whatever.
Yeah, there's less weapon restrictions than you think, particularly there's even stuff.
Well, they won't have things like blight launchers and stuff like that because they weren't yet.
No.
So
it's restricted. It's restricted to weapons of the era, but I was looking at the Night Lord stuff, and you could take the glaive, the chain glaive.
Yeah, that's for the kill team. I mean, I'm talking now for the 40k rule set when it comes around. Because the problem is, people will be like, "Oh, cool! I want to play this new Horus Heresy. I've got all these Space Marines. I don't want to buy new models. I don't know why you wouldn't want to buy them. They're pretty cool." But I'm saying is that you're going to be able to use a lot of existing models.
Yeah.
I have this feeling. I don't know if I'm right because I haven't been able to see these images enough, but. So, this is my theory. In a couple of years, Firstborn Marines don't exist in terms of 40k.
Yeah.
Because all those sculpts are being still reused as part of the 30k kit. I reckon this was their plan as to why they don't have to lose an entire part of their production line. So all they do is they diminish the resin side, and then they use the Firstborn sculpts and stuff like that they always have been using. Use that as their 30k stuff, and then they just keep producing Primaris.
This is just WoW Classic all over again.
Yeah,
same marketing.
We're gonna take the same thing, rebrand it, and repackage it, and sell it back to you again at a higher price.
That's exactly.
And you're gonna buy it, and you're gonna buy it every day of the week.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. I mean, like, at least it's a whole new rule set and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're trying to re-inject it into 30k, which would be absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. No, that would be hilarious. But if that turns out to be the case, I mean, and don't get me wrong, like particularly some of the newer old models are really cool. Like I picked up the old company champion the other day. He's a cool model with like his shoulder.
Oh, the combat shield with the bolter and that.
The
bolt pistol that's strapped to the shield. Yeah, the one from the command box. Is that the one you're talking about?
He has the little shield, but I don't think he has a bolter on him. He's got the cool pauldrons where it's like the plate overlapping the plate. And
oh yeah.
And he's just cool.
Kind of like Cataphracti style.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, exactly. Like big bulky plate overlapping a plate. And then in that same squad, because this was just some random models. I picked up a squad of Devastators. There's some random models. There's actually a Firstborn shoulder pad, not a Terminator shoulder pad, and it's got a Crux Terminatus on the shoulder. And I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That,
even Beakies are sick.
Yeah, I for my Primaris, for my Black Templar, when I got the new box, I put a Beaky helmet on the Marshal for the squad.
Yeah, that's cool.
I was like, this guy's...
Is the scale not weird?
No, it's not. It's fine.
Okay.
But it's like he's crossed the Rubicon, but he's kept his helmet. He's taken it to the armory. He's like, make it fit. And he's put it on his new armor.
It's like, just take out the lining. All of it. I just want it's like the helmet's just a thin layer of bare metal. And it's like...
he's taken it to the nearest tech adept. And he's like, see this? On my head. Make it happen.
So, like, for players, I mean, I know a few players out there that, like myself, who despise Primaris. The models and everything. I think it's stupid. I don't think that it needed to change. I think they could have just changed it by saying,
this is Mark 10 armor.
Yeah, or, whatever. Or here's Call, who's just making tech better again, or, whatever. Anyway, we're not going to get into an epic lore discussion about the holes that Games Workshop has dug themselves with that. But to me, I go, cool. I mean, this is my nostalgia all over again, in a way. Like, this is, like, I'm not a Space Marine player. I don't really care for the Imperium or the Space Marine stuff, unless it's, like, Titans and stuff, which is really cool. But this is 100% drawing me back to Space Marines. Having this, it's just the support.
Yeah.
It's not even the models. It's not even the fact that they've come out and gone, hey, here's a part of our repertoire that, yeah, whatever, they're doing it to make money. But they're going, no, we're going to actively support this. And that is cool. Now, how that works with 40k, we said it before, I really hope it's a different game. I really hope that it's not this just super stupid killy system like we've currently got in 40k. I hope, Terminators are Terminators. I hope that tanks are tanks.
Well,
I hope it's...
I do know a little bit about the current setting of Terminators in 30k.
Yeah.
Cataphracti Terminators only move 4 inches, I believe, but they have like 4-up invos and they have extra durability on them. And then I believe the Tartarus Terminators have extra mobility, but then they have, they're 2-up, 5-up.
Yeah.
They're 2-up, 5-up instead of 2-up, 4-up. And then there's actually, because it's Heresy...
The third one, right?
Well, there's 4. There's Gorgon Terminators, which are the Iron Hand specific ones, and they have a rule where because Gorgon Terminators, Ferrus Manus made them so that when you shot at them, there was some sort of kinetic field that made projectiles just explode in proximity into like create kinetic energy explosions in proximity, and with
It's kind of we have a system that exists like that in real life
and
now.
I don't know about science. Sure, I believe you. But anyway, so these models, they deal mortal wounds to anything around them, like
Yeah, so it's like,
including your own models.
oh, what?
Yeah, it's just
That's
it's just
hilarious.
mortals in general. So like, if
So
your
you just
opponent,
you just leave them on their own.
yeah,
And they're
because
just like,
if you shoot at them, then they just deal mortals.
yeah. So that's like the robots, right? The Castellan robots
No,
from in current AdMech.
oh, I don't.
They do that.
Do they?
So like a 6, if they save on a 6, they do a mortal wound back to you.
Oh yeah. No, but this is
It's like their reflector field or whatever.
yeah. It's a similar rule, but I think it just does mortals to anything with like does one mortal wound to anything within 3 or something,
That's hilarious.
and that's so cool.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So I mean, I just want the game to feel like. This is going to sound so stupid. I want the game to feel like the game. I want the game to feel 30k. They've got the imagery, they've got the stories, they've got the lore, they've got the setting, whatever. They've got everything. Just make the game feel. I want my decisions to matter. You know, I want it to be like, well, look, maybe not. Looking at the amount of models they actually have in this box and stuff, it's probably going to be very similar to current 40k. Let's be honest, this probably is. You know, maybe they still follow the narrative thing, and that's what that gives it that little bit of, you know.
would you be interested in like, you know, if they had, you know, sort of just narrative campaign book releases, sort of that's what they're currently doing, right? Or that's what they've been currently doing up until now.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of it is whether you're playing 30k or Kill Team or 40k or whatever, like, you just make up your own stories.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever. Like, who cares? Like, you could. There was the war and the setting of 30k, was so large that, you know, if you really wanted to cover everything, you know, they're gonna. And I think it's actually quite good for them to be able to be like, all right, when we're done writing novels, but we still want to expand on this portion of the lore, which is really important, and it still is. You know, whether or not people agree that it's important or not, well, they're wrong, because it is, because it's paved the way for everything we kind of have now in terms of current lore and stuff moving forward. And it's so rich and vast that they have so much to explore.
Yeah, well, I think they've got the potential there to make it massively different. Like, I know you've never played modern Necromunda, but to me that's like such a I play it or have played it. I loved it, and it's just so wildly different. Like it feels in the way that those campaign systems and stuff work when you are playing a Necromunda campaign, it feels like your decisions have way more weight, particularly and I don't know if this is something you could go down with in a 40k setting, just because your forces are so much bigger. Then you're sort of looking at like the equivalency of Crusade rules. But
Yeah.
you know, maybe that's the road they try and take it if they're trying to, you know, build those narratives. Like you've got, you know, experience and stuff for models or for units, and they can unlock X and Y. And in Necromunda, it made it feel super cool because like your decisions mattered. Like when you have this, I had my, you know, champion, and he had this big scythe. You remember that scythe that I got off you, the Death Guard scythe?
Yeah.
If he died in a campaign, like I had to be careful what I threw him into, because if he died, he died. Like that was it. You know, when you're running a Necromunda campaign, and it was super dicey, you couldn't just run him across the field, because if you got him killed in the next battle, he just wasn't there. And I always loved Necromunda for how invested you got in your characters, because if they died in one game, they weren't necessarily coming back in your next one. And
yeah, well, that's the difference with skirmish, right? That's skirmish compared to like, I guess, war game.
Yeah. But I don't know, maybe they could try and do something along those lines. I mean, it's
Well, I mean, you can currently play Horus Heresy in skirmish style, right? You can play it in that as though you're in a space hulk, as in you're in a ship. What's it called? It's got the terrain for it and that as well.
Zone Mortalis or
Zone Mortalis. Yeah, Zone Mortalis.
Zone.
So, which is cool. So I really hope that stays.
I think
and
I think that would help
they'd
leverage.
have to.
I think that would help leverage the sort of weight of decision that you're sort of talking about that you want to see, because when you're running a Terminator squad, a Dreadnought, and a tactical squad, or two tactical squads, or whatever, compared to 40k standards, that's a really small battle. Like, that's tiny.
Yeah.
But from a lore point of view, in 30k, like, that's enough to stomp a planet, pretty much. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
Well,
they always said planets were taken. A single squad of a tactical squad can take a planet.
Yeah. A tactical squad was like 50 people back then, though.
No, still 10.
You sure?
Still 10. Yeah. One squad was always still 10. Anyway, the way I'd love to play this, and I hope this new edition enables me to play it this way, is that Zone Mortalis for my infantry stuff, and if we're on a big 60-44 board, it's knights and tanks and only. Because in a real war zone, right? Like when you've got armor,
that's super
and stuff
interesting.
Like that.
Actually,
unless you're in a city, you're not out on the open.
Yeah, you're not just running across a field like
you're not just walking across.
Here
the
we
field.
go, boys. Yeah, you're just not.
With next to tanks that are just like, in real life, if you move 6, the tank would be moving 50.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I hope that it's kind of structured a little bit more that way, that the games are kind of scaled in that way, and that could be anything from mission design to army composition to the campaigns themselves or whatever it is. But I know definitely for how I will be wanting to play the game, it'll be right. Are we playing mechanized today, or are we playing sort of infantry heavy?
Yeah, that infantry heavy super excites me, because Zone Mortalis is a super interesting. Like, again, that's part of you've got Zone Mortalis and Sector Mechanicus in Necromunda, and
that's it. Yeah.
Zone Mortalis is the one that's like sort of almost underground, like with the barricades, old school Space Hulk style. And then,
well, you're supposed to be in a ship, right? That one.
And then Sector Mechanicus is like you're on a hive,
like underhive, right?
Yeah, hive, underhive, but it's very multi-level, which would be really like, I always think that sort of stuff's super awesome. It helps add to having that third dimension of like up and down. It's super, super cool.
Things like, it's like what they did in Kill Team with Vantage Point, right? Like, even if you were to convert that to a modifier, being like, 5 inches above a unit looking down, clear line of sight or whatever, not in cover, you +1 a hit, or whatever. Keen, man. I'm really keen as well, because I haven't played the previous edition.
No,
so
I think that's
one
of the research, and I think there's also pinning and suppression mechanics.
Yes.
Yeah. So
because it's similar to 7th. So 7th still had those in place before everything was kind of overhauled with 8th.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, anyway. I'm sure Dalton or someone's going to be like, "No, you got it wrong. It was 6th.
You don't know anything."
So. Yeah, we're coming close to the end now anyway. But I really hope that they don't 9th edition Horus Heresy.
No, it needs,
or even 8th.
It needs to be different. Just
obviously don't do that, because if you do that, what's going to happen is people are going to buy the models and they're just going to go play the previous editions like they have in the previous done that. So don't be stupid. But as long as there's a different team on it, because the 40k team, I don't know what's going on there.
Well, I mean, I've heard good reports about Tempest of War.
Yeah, that's great. That is.
I haven't
great.
played it yet, but
Dude, we should play. How have you not played it?
Well, I haven't seen any of you, and my computer's been
You know,
busted.
you can just come. Anyway, we're not going to talk about this on a podcast.
I've been at work.
So yeah, I mean, you just come over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look, that's kind of the current situation with Horus Heresy. There are our thoughts on it. I'm excited. I know you're excited. We have a huge portion of our Discord that's excited. So if this is something
what's
that you
Dalton
can't,
doing? Sons of Horus, yeah.
Yeah. Like the lame. I feel it's such a cop out.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because it's just like they're just the best, right?
Well, actually, in
are.
current 30k
Like-
rules, Space Wolves are the best.
No, I mean in the the Sons of Horus, right? They're like
Bigger, stronger,
they're
faster,
your-
built to hurt. Like,
they're your top team.
Yeah.
They're your ones to beat.
Yeah.
Right. That's the whole point.
yeah, I guess.
So trust Dalton to be like, I'm picking those guys.
Built to chest.
Anyway. Well, he's not,
No, he's
but
not.
yeah.
He's not.
He's not Mick.
No, no, he's a filthy loaded dice. Not.
Yes.
I mean, not really, because I use the same dice. It's just when I touch them, they don't do that.
Yeah, it's horrific. Yeah, so yeah, come to the Discord.
Yeah, show us your
we-
30k
we're-
stuff. If you're
Yeah, if you've
someone
got
who
it,
knows
show
more
it.
about it than us, get on the Discord, fill us in, tell us why we're stupid, and then teach us how to play.
Yeah, even teach us. Yeah, 100%. That would be something that's really cool. We will be definitely pushing into 30k regarding risky rollers and bat reps. We will be definitely doing a box bat rep and a box review, along with the edition review when it's released. And then we're also going to do this kill team stuff.
Yeah, and if you're
So
if you're the
it's-
guys that made that, get in the Discord, reach out to us, and talk to us about that, because that'd be cool. Like, I want to know more about like all the things.
Well, we should actually reach out to them and be like, "Hey, let's talk." But yeah, we'll.
Okay.
That's gonna happen.
That's why you're
sure.
that's why you're in charge of those things.
If you like what you're hearing, like, subscribe, please review us. We love that you listen to us, and we hope that you enjoyed it.
Very nice.
See you all in the next one.
Next time.
Bye.
See ya. Dun 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 dun.